Well, welcome everyone to the Monica Brant Show. I'm Monica, and co-hosting with me is Dylan Gemelli.
All right, super excited. Dave Lee here. I can't wait.
You said he's the smartest man in the world.
He's one of the smartest guys I've ever met, and I've met a lot of guys.
This is impressive. We've got an intelligent man here. If you're saying that,
trust me, I don't say it lightly.
That's no pressure, Dave.
No pressure. Maybe you just haven't met very intelligent people. I'm like the best of the low grade.
I don't know. Dylan has a lot of good information from a lot of good people. So if he's saying that, then there's something of value there. And we have you here, so thank you for taking time away. I know you're here with the Olympia University, right?
Yeah, correct. So we're just heading over after this to speak on the main stage.
Yep.
And then we did 2 roundtables yesterday, and then we're doing one a bit later on today as well.
Well, thank you for making time, and hopefully you're not tired of talking yet.
This is all I do. I just talk out of my ass all the time. So I've got it down to an art at this stage, so I'm good.
Well, thank you for joining us here at the Monica Brant Show. And we've been talking about a lot of different things, from peptides to HRT to just overall wellness, stem cells, physical fitness. What do you feel like is your specialty? And
definitely the TRT side. What I've kind of specialized in over the years is more of the troubleshooting cases. So, you know, for a lot of guys, they'll just start TRT, they'll have their diet good, they'll have their exercise good, so they're just kind of good to go. They just put it in, they usually start with their, 150, 200 milligrams a week, and it works out great for them. But there's also a cohort of guys who've got issues with brain injuries, thyroid, liver problems, metabolic issues, mental health issues, a whole slew of things that come with the low testosterone state. So over the last few years, I've specialized in when people go to see a doctor or see a provider and they can't fix them, they come to me. And that's kind of become my specialty.
Yes.
The fixer.
I'm the fixer. I'm the end of the line. I'm the one when you're fucked and everyone else says it can't be fixed, you come to see me.
How did you get into this line of work?
I actually used to be in a touring band when I was younger. I did my undergrad in digital marketing. I stopped doing science in about year 9 in school. I had no interest in any of this. And then I had a brain injury, so I was told that I wouldn't be able to walk properly again.
Wow.
I spent a couple of years not really doing too well with that. And as part of a last-ditch effort to get through rehab and get my life back, I started testosterone. That really helped. I went back to university, did some postgraduate studies in science to learn how to heal the brain. And then my goal after that was to help people going through something similar to what I went through, which was to be the person that I needed when I needed that guy. And everything else beyond that just kind of felt meaningless. So that's kind of what got me into it.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. How old were you when you had the brain accident?
25. And now I'm 32.
Wow, you've done a lot in a short amount of time besides healing yourself, right? Learning how to, and then going back to school. Wow. How did you know at 25 that you needed testosterone in order to help this journey?
In retrospect, if you look back at photos of me when I was 21, 22, you could probably work it out. So I was very interested in psychiatry. I was very interested in mental health. And one of the things that interested me the most about testosterone was how it impacts dopamine and drive and confidence and resilience. And these were a lot of things that I really lacked when I was younger. So when I was in this situation where I wasn't doing well, when I tried a bunch of supplements, I wasn't really interested in psychiatric drugs like SSRIs, antidepressants, all of these things. I started looking at testosterone the way that I'd look at a pharmaceutical medication to be like, how does this work? What does this do? And when I was looking at it, I was going, this ticks every box that I'd be looking at for something to get me through a really difficult period of my life. And then lo and behold, once I put it in, I was like, oh, this is what I was missing all along. This is maybe why I was a bit softer and more anxious and a bit more meek when I was growing up. So I've been on both sides of the fence. And I think that's what's allowed me to understand what a lot of the younger guys are going through as well.
That's impressive.
Yes. So one of the things that Dave and I have talked about before I wanted to touch on, when we were talking about people thinking they need TRT and not finding the underlying cause, what are some of the things that you look for that people don't in their mind look for? Because some people say, oh, I'm tired, I need TRT. Or, oh, I don't have any sex drive, I need TRT. But they don't really look for the cause. What's causing the low testosterone? Sometimes you don't just need TRT.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you look for on blood markers, for example, that would indicate, hey, this needs fixed and maybe it'll correct itself?
Sure. So from a blood standpoint, thyroid and liver disease are big ones. So someone having something like Hashimoto's thyroiditis that often gets undetected, low thyroid will lower the testosterone production, and it will also create the same symptoms. Hypothyroid, hypogonadism, if you put the symptoms next to each other, they're basically the same. And liver disease. A lot of people have liver disease from drinking too much alcohol, over in the States eating too much high fructose corn syrup, not doing enough exercise. But from a conversational standpoint, the two things I look at, which I think are very simple, is drugs, alcohol, junk food, not doing enough exercise. That's
lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Too much phone at night.
All of that stuff. Like
playing games, video games.
Yeah, and if you're 10% off here, 10% off there, 10% off there, that's a 30% deficit. So
right.
I think a lot of people are just. There are some people who can get away with all kinds of shit, and they're the outliers.
Yes,
but
yeah.
I think a lot of people are trying to live as if they're healthy when they're actually really not doing too well. The other one that I like to look at, which for the audience here would probably be more relevant, is you just make a list of all the shit that you know that you shouldn't be doing, that you are doing, and then a list of all the shit that you're not doing, that like you just basically make that list of going, what am I doing that I shouldn't be doing, and what am I not doing that I should be doing?
Right.
And if you can just look at that and go, I don't understand human biology in terms of how this is messing up my testosterone production, but just take it from me, it is.
Yeah.
And just fix that. And if you fix that, and then you've still got a problem, then go see a practitioner. But don't pay hundreds of dollars for someone to tell you to like stop drinking 10 beers on a Friday. And I think that's what's happening. A lot of people are living very unhealthfully, but then expecting to have a great libido, great mental function, great physique. And it's like, you can't have the results from the work that you haven't done. So those are the big ones, and then if that's all in check and you still feel like crap and your levels are still terrible, some younger guys, just the hormone system is damaged and they need that intervention, and if you do it, it's the best thing you'll ever do.
So what?
I love the listing because we're all probably good at making lists of things that we need to do, schedules, what to do in the future, or how we're going to put something together. So what a great list for just transparency for yourself, right?
That's smart. It is. And why is it, in your opinion, that the average level of testosterone in men has dropped significantly so much, aside from diet? I think we know that's part of it, but why do you think it just continues to go down?
Yeah, so...
And you can be honest here.
Okay.
Yeah, speak freely.
Go for it.
So I like things in threes, so pollutions, plastics, and pesticides.
Okay.
They're
3 Ps.
Yeah.
3 Ps to look at. So, and they would all fall under a category of what we call endocrine disruption.
Yep.
So external compounds. I also think that phytoestrogens, so estrogens in the diet, not just from the pesticides, but also from a lot of plant-based food, I think that's all contributing and adding up onto this environment. And then we've also got the lifestyle execution. I think people have so much information, but they have such shitty execution of actually acting on that information.
Applying what they're hearing. Yeah.
It's an application issue. So it's just a lifestyle factor. Nowhere near enough sunlight. I just moved to Eastern Europe, and understanding how important the sun is when you take it away, like, fuck the sun. I grew up in Australia. I'd never seen a dark winter, and then I was like, holy shit. So sunlight, movement, lean body fat percentage, healthy whole food diet, particularly prioritizing animal-based nutrition as well. Really important to get the building blocks for your body to make hormones. And it's that combination of, I think we're being conditioned away from a lifestyle that builds resilience, masculinity, testosterone production, just resiliency to stress, but then we're also being poisoned and deprived of the proper nutrition that we need as well. So I think it's just kind of like a lot of guys are just kind of doomed from the start, hormone-wise, which is why so many people come in and they're like, I'm doing everything right, sometimes to the point that it's excessive, like they're like over the top with everything, and their hormone system's just shot to shit. So some people just need that, and I think it's just from growing up with this. I mean, it's a multi-generational thing. It's like they messed with the diet, lifestyle, the environment of people, and then they reproduced, and they reproduced, and they reproduced. And now we've just got this multi-generational effect, I think.
Wow. So how do you handle all of the information that you have for yourself, like with regards to what do you do for yourself to, for your fitness goals, for your strength goals? Like just some of the simple things that you try to do on a regular basis.
Yeah, so I'm very blessed to live in a small, very peaceful village in a country that doesn't speak English. So I get my peace and quiet. I think time in nature is important. I think that's often overlooked. So, I like to look at how we can do things efficiently. So going for a walk outside in nature, listening to an audiobook or a podcast like this one. That's how
Thank
you
you,
can.
thank you.
That's how you can tick multiple boxes at the same time. So I like a lot of low-grade movement. I really enjoy the calls and consultations I do. 4, 5, 6 hours of consults a day. But then that creates a movement debt.
Yeah.
So paying that movement debt, when you're working from home and you're not getting the incremental steps to the car, to the office, to the lunch, and all that kind of stuff,
Right.
people have got to do more exercise, and it's not just lifting heavy weights and training hard. You've got to just move more. So I try to get as much movement outside as possible. That's really important to me. And then eating food that's minimally processed, home cooked, ideally from local farms, and all stuff that doesn't come out of a packet, that's got a short expiration life. I'm used to talking about fucking hormones.
TOT.
Yeah. Shorter shelf life, so eating whole food, exercising a lot, getting outside in nature, and doing that stuff consistently. I think that one thing I learned a lot, I used to teach mindfulness meditation, and to have a good relationship with the voice inside your head, it's about the stuff you do when no one's around.
Right.
It's about the stuff that you do 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's the little habits, and it's the keeping yourself accountable and on track. So I like to just have daily processes that I do every day that kind of keep me grounded and aligned. And nature, good food, lots of exercise,
I like that.
and then getting as much sun as you can when the sun's shining. That's what I do.
Yeah. So,
That's good stuff.
Monica,
Yes.
last year when I met Dave, we got to talking, and he sent me an ebook. And I don't have a lot of free time. I just don't. And he sent it to me, and I took a look at it. I sat down. It was like midnight. And I read a couple sentences. I kept going and kept going. Before I know it, I read the whole thing, literally. And I don't do that. I just don't have the time to do it. Unless it's like a religious book I'll sit and read. I just don't do it. And so I guess my point is his writing is amazing. It's very intriguing, and it gets right to the point. So, Dave, I was curious if you would tell everybody, because I know you've got multiple now, what are your main topics? What kind of books are you going to be releasing in the future? And what's driving you to keep doing it?
Yeah, so I originally wrote a book just to build an e-commerce section on my site so that I could just test it out. I didn't intend to write a bunch of books. When I was doing my marketing undergrad degree, I did professional writing as part of that. So I've always found writing to be maybe not easy, but it comes naturally to me. So I'm a big believer in finding the platform that works for you and just doing that. So if people like talking, if people like making videos, taking photos, just do whatever authentically works. So for me, that was writing. So I wanted to, I grew up playing like Nintendo 64 video games. We share the nostalgia video game preference. So I wanted to write like an instruction manual that came with a video game.
Yes.
It's like, this is the thing that should come with TRT. So I didn't want to write the book, What is TRT? Why should you do it? Because Jay Campbell wrote that already, and it's really good. I wanted to write this is how you do it, and I wanted to write it in a way that everyone could understand it. If you're like a blue-collar worker, you've never read anything to do with science, totally outside your comfort zone, I wanted you to have everything that you needed as affordably as possible, so that meets the goal of basically, I want as many people in the world as possible to get proper access to HRT. And the biggest issue that people had was like, you get your injections, you get your testosterone, and you're like, what do I do with this? So
Right.
that was the first book. The second book was, when I started in this field years ago, there was Jay's book, there was maybe one thing on YouTube, and that was it.
Yep.
So there was no information, but at least the information was correct. Now the TRT space is just full of nonsense. It's full of just stuff that is just objectively wrong. So the second book I wrote was like a myth-busting book. I was like, what's all the stuff that you get up on Google or you read it or you get on YouTube and then you get misguided? So guys would come to me in consults and they were like, oh, everything was going well, and then I read this about HCG and I started taking this and now I've got these problems. And women always understand why HCG is problematic for men. Men don't understand it, but it's very obvious why it's problematic. So they find these things online and then they just got off track. So I wanted to go, here's all the pitfalls that you're going to fall into.
Yes.
And don't fall into them. So I've got my third book coming out soon, which is my Your Brain on Testosterone, War and Masculinity book. So
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, my
That's
kind of
gonna be
book.
good.
Yeah.
So I've done a 3-part lecture series, so it's a bit long, so I've condensed it into a book, and then I've also put in like supplement protocols, and I just want that trilogy of books to just have everything, so that way people can go online, they can pay an affordable price tag and go, here's all the info, I've just got to read it and do it.
Yes.
And That's what I believe in.
Then you just have to apply it.
Then you got to apply it. That's on you.
Right?
That's not my problem.
I want to read that
It's
book.
pretty
You got to
impressive.
give me a heads up.
I like it.
send
Yeah,
it
A
through.
War on Masculinity. That is huge.
We had this
So big.
discussion.
Yeah, it is huge, and it's a shame that it's huge because everyone's losing because of it. I
Yeah.
think that
Yeah.
when you get rid of strong, dominant masculinity,
Yeah.
you take away the people who are going to stand up against things that are wrong, but you also lose the foundational framework of what holds families and what holds beliefs together.
Yes.
And I think that everyone loses when that goes away. I think that toxic masculinity is a paradox. That's just a garbage word. Men can be dickheads. It's not because they're masculine, and
It's true.
I think it's a real shame that men are getting conditioned away from wanting to be brave and strong like a superhero or like a video game character. They're not having that goal of saying, I want to be the best, strongest, most capable leader I can possibly be. And if you don't do that, it's a miserable, anxious existence. So the alternative is not any better.
Well said.
Very well said. So you're from Australia,
Yes.
born and raised?
Born and raised. I was in Australia until COVID happened, and then the country got a bit weird, so I got out of that.
Yeah, I saw everything, and
Yeah.
I know what you mean.
A bit weird.
Smart to leave. I don't blame you.
Okay, so you're speaking at the university today and tomorrow. Yesterday and today.
Yeah, yesterday we did 2 roundtables, which were great, and then today we're going to go speak on the main stage and then do another TRT roundtable. So today's more kind of like my bread and butter, which
Yeah.
is like how to execute and get TRT done right, which I think is something that it's great that it's just been an exponential growth in the space. TRT has become so popular,
That's good.
and it's become popular because people are getting really good results from it. So
Well, I know years ago for me, being in this industry, it was really taboo talking about any of it, right? It was
Yeah.
just like steroid use, and I'm like, but I was in my 20s and 30s, and
Yeah.
in my 40s, I started learning a little bit more about it. Now, of course, in my 50s, it's like, okay, I want to know the best information.
Well, now that people
and
can
I
make
need it
money
now.
on of it,
I need it
yeah.
now.
Now that there's money to be made, you can talk about it. But before, it was helping people, but they couldn't make money, so you can't talk about it.
Well,
yeah, someone's got to make money.
all right. So
Well,
how do
yeah.
people find you?
So yes, you can find me on Instagram. I'm Dave Lee, or you can find my ebooks and bookings with me at advancedfundamentalhealth.com.
Yep.
AdvancedFundamentalHealth.com.
Yeah,
I like that. I'm Dave Lee.
Yes.
And that's
very much.
L-E-E.
L-E-E, that's it.
L-E-E. Well, we'll have the links in the description too. So
Yes.
thank you so
Perfect.
much for taking time. Anything else you want to share?
No, that's it. Thank you for having me.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Always a pleasure, man.
All right, guys, thank you for joining us here. Go take a look and find Dave Lee online, and we'll see you again soon on the Monica Brant Show.
StemRegen is professionally formulated for athletes for enhanced recovery, improved microcirculation, and smart cellular signaling. I attribute being an athlete to all of the years of this incredible journey I've had in the health and fitness industry. I'm Monica Brant, 30-year health educator and encourager. Having added StemRegen into my program for the last year, I've been able to maintain the level of intense exercise that I demand on myself. Thanks to StemRegen, I am unleashing my regenerative potential.